Hey, and welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 9:01, 9:02, maybe 3 Pacific time. And I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're trying to give away baked goods to your neighbors, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
I don't give them away, but I do consume them that are gifted to me.
Oh,
yeah. Especially, and I am the one guy, I tell you, fruitcake. I do love fruitcake. I'm the one. I dispel the myth that there's only one fruitcake around. So if you don't like fruitcake, send them to me. I'll take care of it for you.
Wow. You are such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Take care of those problems for us.
I try. Hey, but before we get into fruitcake, baked goods, and all other things tasty for holiday treats, we're going to talk about all the things that you could plan to do with your geocaching life after the holiday season's over in 2023. You know, when you're trying to get out on some hikes and work off the extra calories from those baked goods and all that. Yeah, the pecan pies and the pfeffernusse and the Stollen. Okay, but we need to bring the team in here. So, and of course, live audience, don't forget, we want to hear from you. But first, before we get all this done, it's time. I'm out of practice. Can you tell? It's time to bring in our curious capuchin. Some say he mixes his mistletoe with vodka. Others say, just like the World Cup, he leaves people disappointed. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Well, also like the World Cup, the Japanese fans clean up after me, so I really appreciate it.
I just read what I'm told here. I don't know that you've left me disappointed, Land Monkey. So.
Aw, thanks.
Although, I don't know, the last few Christmases you've gotten baked stolen, and we've gotten connected, and I don't know that I'm going to see you this year to do that.
You may be out of stolen this year.
Yeah, so that might leave me disappointed. But it's not your fault. I won't hold it personally against you.
I knew I wasn't getting a Land Monkey stolen, so I found one and bought one.
There you go. Yeah, if you can't get one of my home-baked ones, that's probably the next best thing. Ooh.
BC Rock Crawler is baking fruitcake this weekend. So it's end. You know where you have to go.
I got to go.
It's up to Nanaimo. A hop and a skip. Yeah.
I can't find any problem with that.
Awesome. Well, I would love to talk about baked goods all night, but we probably need to get into the podcast a little bit. And so we'll start with the quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep the podcast coming each and every week. And a thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali sponsors. Remember, they have that geocaching holiday tag promotion going on. For every $25 before tax you spend, you get one of those cool trackable holiday tags. So, if you spend $50, you get 2. If you spend $75, you get 3. If you spend $100, thank you. There you go. JT Coffee's showing it off. There we go. That's what you get. You get one of those for every $25. All right. Well, check that all out at landsharks.ca or go over to Jesse's place. All right. And of course, our other corporate Denali level sponsor, that is Gold Country Geotourism. Check them out. Check out the 2 geotours in Gold Country. Check out the communities up there. Wonderful, beautiful place to spend some time. And if you need to know more, well, check them out in their app or, I think I should put a windscreen back on here. I could hear that pop myself.
You are plosive tonight.
I am plosive this evening. All right. Check out their app, download their app and install that, or just go to their website at exploregoldcountry.com. All right. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting this podcast, well, gosh, we sure we support everybody who supports us. Well, we do, but we really appreciate you also. And we want to remind you that if you want to find out more about supporting this show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
Yes. Jesse, JT Coffee, it's good to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us.
Please take over the podcast. We're destroying it.
Yeah, the 3 of us are going to sign off. It's all yours. Good night.
Going rogue. Woo. Well, it's great to be back. Thanks for having
Great
me.
to have you back. And I mean, honestly, could we pick a better guest for this topic tonight?
Exactly.
Talking
Now,
about planning,
listeners-
it must involve notebooks. I'm thinking maybe we'll see. We'll get
Yeah.
to that later.
Yeah, I'm seeing some guesses as to how many I have near me. That's a fun fact. We'll have to define the parameters of what near me is. The answer will differ.
It's like you're a return guest and people know what's going on.
Are they notebooks within 162 meters or?
Ah.
Oh, that's a large number of notebooks.
I'm out of fingers. I can't do that many. So.
Listeners, we know you have questions for Jesse and not just about the number of notebooks. So if you want to ask questions for tonight's show, use the hashtag plan. Put that in the chat and our chat lackey will highlight it for us. Of course, if you have any questions for the after show, maybe they don't have to do with your geocaching adventures in 2023. They have something to do about eggplant. I don't know. You can talk about that in the after show. And
how do you talk about that in the after show? Is there a hashtag you should use?
Oh, yeah, maybe. It's on screen, so obviously people could read it, especially if they're listening only. That's the hashtag FATAS. Pop that out there, and you can bring up something for the after show. And folks, if you are listening later on, send us an email to caching. What is it? CachingNW. No. Feedback at cachingNW.com.
At geocaching.com. Yeah.
I throw that in there too. Anywhere you can email something, use the hashtag FATAS and see if it gets to us. Wow. There you go. Feedback at cachingNW.com. And we know some people will be baking this weekend, but if you're baking tonight, we want to hear about it with the hashtag podcast baking. And of course, you can send us an email at feedback at cachingNW.com with the hashtag podcast baking and show us what you're baking.
Chris, I got to point out that our live audience, which best live audience in podcasting here, and they have their own hashtag they've defined going on tonight, which is hashtag notebook count. And there is a series of guesses going on. I don't know how they're going to define the whole game here, but we'll let them. I mean, they're doing their own thing, and they do a great job of it. So let them go.
I have no doubt. Yeah, is it within reach? Is it within sight? Within the room that I'm in? These are all options.
Define the parameters, live audience. Mm-hmm. Let us know, and then we'll let you know who the winner is by the end of the podcast.
Right, too much fun.
Technical wise, I keep seeing people in the chat saying that my volume is low. I have had to do some reworking of my equipment over the last couple of weeks that I've been not here on the podcast. Am I sounding too low? I'm cranked about as high as I can get on this mixer board.
Well, you're pretty good now. Maybe if you keep your mouth a little closer.
I'll try to eat the microphone here as best I can.
Cookie Monster.
Like microphone. Yum. Microphone start with C. No, don't start with C. Cord. Microphone, never mind. It's just not worth it. But I can talk about Land Ho. At long last, the journey named 2022 is fast approaching the port. Just like any voyage, the route was not always clear. Winds blew, waves rose, and the skies occasionally opened. Then again, how can we know sunshine without rain? See the deep philosophical thoughts you get here on a Thursday night?
Mm-hmm. Well, we shut down the internet for a reason.
I know. It says here, as your home appears over the horizon, a safe harbor is only a short while away, but when you step foot on shore, how will you celebrate? List the ways in a notebook. Oh, no, it doesn't say that. To welcome your arrival, we've rounded up some advice on how to conclude the year and begin anew by hosting an event cache.
Da-da-da.
Yeah, everybody should do that. That's good. So, remember your dates. If the Drop Anchor 2022 souvenir is available the last week of the year, December 24, that's Christmas Eve, to December 31, that's New Year's Eve. While the Full Sail 2023 souvenir, well, that's available January 1st through 8th. Takes us right up to Seabeck Tribe's birthday, I think.
Oh, nice.
I think I remember that right. Find a geocache, attend an event between these dates to earn those
Uh-oh.
Oh gosh.
I don't think
It's
he's acting. He's usually a pretty good actor, but all right.
It's a beautiful souvenir too, and a matching coin. It's really cool.
Oh, wow.
Souvenir and coin. Can you buy the coins now, or do you have to wait?
You can. I've seen them, and they have 2 tags to go with either side, the anchor and the sail. Like,
how clever!
It's beautiful.
What a great idea. I'll have to look at that. So Seebeck Tribe said it's Witsend's birthday too within that time frame. All right. So let's pick it up where Witsend left off. Drop Anchor 2022 souvenir available December 24th, 31. Full sale 2023 souvenir, January 1 to 8. Buy the cool trackables, says JT Coffee. Let us know. Find a geocache or attend an event between those dates to earn the 2 souvenirs. If you intend to host an event, be sure to give yourself enough time. Remember, that's 14 days prior to when you want to have the event. That you got to get it into the reviewers, because you know how reviewers are. All right. Allow those community volunteers time to double check your listing, because we always screw up, and so they have to fix our work.
Yes, they do.
Oh, sorry. I'm speaking for myself.
My
reviewers are my editors. All right. Select the perfect venue. Step number 2. Actually, you know what? Jesse, do you want to read step number 2?
Sure. Let me get on the same page as you here. Step number 2. Let's see. Selecting the perfect venue. Event caches take place at venues, which can be large or small, indoors or outdoors. To celebrate the conclusion of this year's voyage, consider revisiting a favorite place from the year. Did you discover a new neighborhood or local business from geocaching? Good event location ideas.
There you go.
If so, just show up at their doorstep with 20 of your friends,
of your closest friends.
Yeah.
Why not? That's a great idea. All right.
Pictures of the coin are at shopgeocaching.com.
There you go, folks.
And the coin is so beautiful that Jim is stunned.
Well, I see him coming back in on behind the stage here, so hopefully we can bring him back into the show. All right. Is Chris, do you want to try bringing him in?
Well, hello again.
Landed.
Yeah, I rebooted before the show and everything, so who knows? Windows decided it was time to just go, and that
All right. Well, Jim, we left item number 4, I think. 3. We left item number 3 for you.
Choose a meaningful. Yeah, choose a meaningful time. That is a meaningful time to restart your computer, preferably outside of podcast hours. But who knew? Thankfully, the one good thing I'll say about Windows is it said, "Hey, Chrome says this didn't shut down cleanly. Do you want to restore all the windows?" Boom, they're all where I left them. So that's nice. Some things help a little bit. The time. Speaking of time, Thursday night at 9, not the time for events. Just saying. I mean, we could maybe host a live. Never mind. The time of event, it's an oft overlooked way to add nuance and flair. To close the year, consider an evening or late night event to conclude the day and the year as well. On a related note, don't miss the chance to host an early morning or a sunrise event. I have been to a JT Coffee event early in the morning. That was fun.
It is fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was it a JT coffee event?
Kind of. It was right outside of HQ. And
Coffee with JT Coffee. I've had several of those events.
I don't think I was the first one there, but I was there early because I like mornings.
Yeah.
So host an early morning, host a sunrise event. And, if you're going to host a sunrise event, winter in the Northern Hemisphere is a good time to do that because you can sleep in a little bit and still have a sunrise event. Just saying.
10 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a sunrise event in July around here, well, you're getting up pretty early, but not in December.
Yeah.
So an event can welcome both a new year and a new day simultaneously. Fun. And a new find, and you can make new friends, all kinds of new stuff you can do at events.
What's not to like?
I know.
I love it. You could even combine the event with the positive impact of a CETO.
Ooh.
CETO season has already concluded, but you know what? There's always the joy of serving your community and let the wind fill your sails. The CETO event are a great way for geocachers to get together for a common purpose to improve, beautify, or restore natural areas. We also call it our game board. It's where we play the game. So get out there and clean things up.
Would you believe
Or
I
else.
started today with a Ceto? I did at
Did you?
Gasworks Park.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. It was a little chilly, but we pulled tons of garbage. It's great.
Good for you guys. Was it just general geocachers or kind of lackey oriented, or?
It was a lot of lackeys that arrived, but there were general geocachers too. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds like a
the
lot of fun.
non-lackey geocachers. There's a few of those out there.
It's just a few.
Not in Seattle, but yeah, elsewhere.
In the picture, we put them at the top center so that they were focused. Like
All the lackeys are pointing.
Look, players, real
Yeah.
play.
Too funny.
Well, Wits End, you brought up a good idea that, an evening event, say at 9:00 on a Thursday, it's hard to find a place. So listeners, if you have an idea where we could host a live event Thursday at 9:00 to 10:00, let us know, because I've been looking for places and they are few and far between.
Yeah, it can be challenging to find a venue because the venue also has to have the ability for us to have a decent speed internet connection if we're going
Right.
to do a live podcast.
Yeah.
That's kind of the biggest challenge for us. Okay.
GSM times 2 has a question. Is the coin drop anchor full sale a two-sided coin or two coins?
one coin, two sides, two tags.
One tag for each
Oh.
side. Cool. Very cool.
It's beautiful. Little rope edge around the sides. Really cool.
Neat.
Nice.
So I'll have to go take a look at that. That sounds like a nice Christmas gift.
Oh, hey, what an idea.
Oh, lovely. A little stocking stuffer there.
A little stocking stuffer. Indeed. All right. Well, do
Well-
we want to jump into the topic?
I do. I think we've already introduced JT Coffee, but perhaps by some odd chance of history, somebody doesn't know who you are. Would you give us
Right.
a brief introduction?
You might have a first-time listener. You just never
Could
know.
happen.
Yeah, could happen. Well, I'm Jessie, JT Coffee. I am a geocacher in the Pacific Northwest. I'm geocaching for about 12 years now, and I've been a lackey for exactly 2 years today, actually, which
Happy lackiversary.
thank you. And that a lackey means, and because I've come across a few people in the world who don't know what that means, it means I work at Geocaching HQ, where we build the app and the website and help people know how to play the game and build things like those souvenirs that you earn and coins to match.
Very cool. Very cool.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, as a geocacher, always on the go, and we follow each other on social media, so I know you're always on the go, Jessie, and always with a plan for the next accomplishments. All our listeners know you always have a plan. There's already a betting pool going on about your books.
Yes.
Well, you're our go-to for this episode, and let's jump right into it. Let's start with events. So, Jessie, do you have any must-attend events on your list for 2023?
Gosh, yes. It's a short answer. Longer answer. There's so many ways to find events. And some of them, there are some events that communities do all around the world, the country, that happen every year. They've been going on for 16, 17, 18 years. And I've heard about those over time. And oftentimes you can find out about those when you join a Facebook group from a certain region. You can see, well, it's the annual chili cook-off or something like that. So and you can filter for them too, and you can watch for all these different events. One of the tools that I've been spending a lot of time on recently, is because I've been planning my year, is the Mega Giga list. And HQ actually curates this list. Other people do too, but the one that HQ builds is the one that's most up to date, because as soon as something goes mega, it gets added right to that list. And then you can, because it's a list, you can sort it in all kinds of interesting ways, of like the newest one, the one that's closest to you. You can map it. And that's always fun to look at too. Of like,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't been over there yet, or haven't been over there. And excellent. Yeah, there's the link right there. It's a public list. Anybody can enjoy it. And you can watch it and keep an eye on it too for when new megas get added. And it's a big puzzle piece because some megas overlap. There's some weekends when there's up to four megas happening at that time. And so maybe one in California and one in France and one in Portugal. And so of course you can't just decide to attend them all, but, goals, I guess, #goals. But, I'm definitely wanting to add as many of those as possible because it's just such a wonderful time to go to a mega. It's so much fun. There's just so many fun things to do, and there's often coins to earn or buy or find or something. And there's new people to meet, people that you've only met digitally, you can meet in person, which is fantastic. Right now I have my tickets for Yuma and Bamarama, but that's the only one so far. But I definitely have a couple others that I'm planning to go to. I just haven't quite put all the puzzle pieces together yet.
So Jesse, I've got two questions for you. The first one is, I've heard of the Yuma mega. What is Bamarama? I've never heard of that one.
It's a brand new mega. It's just this is first year. It's on the Gulf Coast of Alabama, and it's in February, which is just a wonderful time to go to Alabama when it's not hot as blazes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And my second question is, you were sharing with us about the mega list and the fact that it's a list, but then you can plot it out on a map, which is awesome. Is there any way to visualize that in a calendar?
They will show up if you use the new dashboard in your little calendar widget, nearby megas will show up, but it'll only show up, I think, 90 days out. It won't go all the way into all of them being published. And it has a distance maximum too. So you won't necessarily see in your calendar, if you live in the Northwest, Spain, but you might see the ones nearby.
Oh. All right. So it sounds like if you wanted to do that, you'd have to kind of go through the effort of taking the mega list and plotting it into a calendar. When you pull the mega list, what order does it sort them in? Sort of like distance from you, or?
I think it defaults to distance from you, but maybe because I'm not certain, but we could easily find that out on that list. If anybody wants to pull that up, there's a job it's events.
For our live audience. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, if only we knew someone who had the access to the internet. It might be because it's events that it defaults toward like the closest one, like one date, sorts by date. Okay. So that like Yuma would be first, or
not that either.
No, well, GSM sometimes too says he has it sorted by date.
And then that's the nice thing about these lists is you can very easily tap different categories and it will sort as you would prefer.
Cool.
I can see by default it comes out by geocache name. So
by default,
I click placed on and look at that. It's all by dates now.
Amazing.
I see there's one in Spain tomorrow.
I hope you can go.
Pitter patter. Seebeck tribe was.
And then the day after, Czech Republic. So, I mean, this is all working out. I think I've got this. Germany a week later.
You got a plan.
This is what happens. You start stacking them in, and then you're like, how will I get myself from Czechia to Germany? Well, look at that. And a list is born. Yep.
Oh, too funny.
It's already tomorrow. It's
in
true
Spain.
that.
I may have missed that.
Time zones.
Well, that whole trip is canceled now. It's not going to happen.
That's it. Forget it.
Our always helpful live chat. Just making sure that you logged your will attend, Chris.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like to surprise people. No, I don't put a will attend. Surprise, here I am.
You're welcome. Before. I'm here.
Sometimes I just honestly forget.
We do that. Well, sometimes for us, like for local events, sometimes it's, to be honest, like I think people think we plan a lot more than we do. Some days it's like, is there an event today? All right, let's go there.
Let's go. Yeah. And some days you don't know if you can make it, like, well, maybe, but I don't want to commit in case someone like expects to see me. So
So is that more challenging as a lackey? Is there like a little more pressure, do you feel?
It can be, because it's certainly very visible. You know, my profile says lackey right away, and it's like, oh my goodness, look, a lackey is coming, and sometimes that's great. Friends can see that you're coming, and then sometimes it's, oh look, a lackey's coming. Prepare your questions and grab your pitchforks. But I'm kidding, not very often at all. But it is the visibility is very high.
All right. Good to know. And I think you had mentioned something about a cache machine.
Yes, and there is a cache machine coming up. So that was a Pacific Northwest thing for many years, where a geocacher, Travis L, would come up with a whole list that would take you all day. You started at the first one, you ended at the last one. There was an event to kick it off. There was an event at lunch. And generally speaking, people started at the beginning of the list. I know I've done one where we started in the middle of the list because some of us had found those already. But there's a lot of work that goes into that list. And I believe it was done quarterly, relatively speaking, because there was so much back and forth, and some people didn't want their caches on the list, but he would always ask, you know, any of the COs that don't want their caches on the list, please let me know. And then some of them, if they weren't maybe like weren't reliably there, they would get removed from the list. Anyway, once the list was created, you'd create your little team, and then off you'd go, and it was a full day of caching and fun. And they went on hiatus with COVID, as so many things did. But the next one is in January in Bremerton, and I'm so excited to see them again.
Awesome. I believe the first version 1 of the list came out this week.
Ooh.
So
I think one of the events got published, I think today. I feel like I got that notification, but not.
Well, if you want to know more, you know what you should do? You should watch Caching in the Northwest next week as we talk to Quads in the Mud all about this.
Great plan.
Next week or the week after?
Sorry, week after. 2 weeks. You're right. Something like that. We're going to, you should watch next week's anyway.
You should really watch every week.
It's already on the calendar, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you, Jesse, for sharing some of this. It sounds like you've got a very big year planned, or at least that you would ideally like to get to.
Attend. That was just events.
Right. Yeah. We got lots more to go. But Chris of the Northwest, do you have any events on your radar for this coming year?
I really want to try the Yuma Mega this year.
That's in February?
In February. It's on February 5th, which is a Sunday. So
I've heard a lot of good things about that event. I don't know if it's feasible for us, but it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And the other one I want to hit this year is going caching. That's a little later in the year. And
October
I haven't been and I haven't been to going caching yet. So I think this is the year.
Georgia, right?
Next year. Yes, exactly. In Rome, Georgia.
Well, this year's over.
This year's over.
Yes.
So next year. It's almost this next year. Just a couple of weeks away from next year.
Yeah, going caching's a hoot and a half, I've heard. I haven't been there myself either, but I normally have a conflict. That's the beginning of September, and for some reason it just always ends up that it often ends up that I have a conflict. But one of these days.
There you go.
Yeah. Wits End, you and I will go down to Rome, Georgia. You okay with that?
Sure. I have friends that live in Rome, Georgia, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, they moved from Tacoma to Rome, Georgia several years ago. So that would be fun.
Do they participate in? Are they geocachers?
They're not geocachers. That I know of, they're not geocachers. No. So
very cool.
But I mean, if they're in Rome, Georgia, they have to be geocachers by now.
Yeah, I would think. Hello.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do
it's a polite thing to do.
It would be.
Yeah.
Wits End, do you have any events you're looking forward to doing this year.
You
Or
know,
next year, I should say. I'm
I
confused.
missed the GIF event this year, so I'm looking forward to there being one next year. I've toyed with the idea of maybe even trying to host one. I need to find out
Ooh.
if that would be in conflict with anybody else in the area.
Oh.
But that would be fun. I would like to do that. I didn't know about the Yuma one. That could be fun. I was in Yuma once, the July 4th weekend. So I would say if you're going to go to Yuma, February is a much better time to go to Yuma than July.
Perfect.
Just
Yep.
saying. So yeah, that wasn't fun. I had a dark blue pickup truck with no air conditioning on that trip.
Ay.
Yeah. You could burn your arm just setting it on the window. So,
Vinyl seats, dark vinyl seats.
Yes, all of the above.
course.
Hand crank windows. Yes.
Yep.
Check.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah. Hey, by the way, Sierra's 98 says Rome, Georgia is in Northwest Georgia. Just saying.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
yeah.
It's all coming
Looking
together.
for a remote broadcast location. There
Yep.
you go.
That's it.
Could be. We could do a live event there. So that's me. I'm looking forward to seeing the entertaining films again. Maybe your geocache guy will make an appearance. I'm not going to hold my breath, but it's a possibility.
I think he's got a permanent ban, but
And how about Land Monkey? You got big events on your list?
yeah, I mean, we've as per usual with us, we've got lots of plans and ideas of travel that we'd like to do. We really want to get back down to the Tri-Cities in the summer and do the Tri-Cities Geocoin Challenge and Mega. That's always a favorite.
I've never
For us,
done
so
that event.
It's a mega event you're not hosting. How much fun is
right. That's, any mega event you're not hosting is a great mega event. Yeah.
I'm going to make that this year with you. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, there's an opportunity for a live podcast, maybe even, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, Jen and her crew always put on just a fantastic weekend. Like it's awesome. So looking forward to that. There's a outside possibility of possibly looking at the Maritime Mega. It's in New Brunswick this year, and I think that would be a lot of fun. That would be a really cool thing to go check out. I love that area. I love the Maritimes of Canada. Just a beautiful area to visit. So that's maybe on the radar. You know, things you guys talked about Yuma and some of these other things. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes I just have more stuff I want to do than I have the capacity to do. So
that's every year for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. So we'll see what we end up doing.
every time
But
I hear
Tri-Cities is definitely on the radar.
I'm going to try to make that one work. Every time I hear New Brunswick, I want to go bowling.
I can see why.
Does that have anything to do with bowling?
That's where it all comes from.
Okay.
Let's see. We have several people.
Yeah.
We do. Look at all of them.
Yeah. With GHAGAFAP. I'm
Gigafap.
sure that means Gigafap
Gagafap.
was this year's annual event west of Ontario, not held during the COVID restriction time.
Toronto in Ontario.
Oh, sorry. I already started off reading something else. Okay. So Wet Coaster, they're going to plan to attend at least 2 events on the island of Guernsey, UK. I'll host one. Greenwords will host the other. So we'll be there for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Very
that's
fun.
cool.
That sounds like a blast.
That is cool. GSM times 2 is just reminding Jessie we need to know how many notebooks she has within her reach.
Or within the room.
CRS 98 says, I'm expecting to go to Tri-Cities and Going Ape.
And GeoCoin Fest there he's got.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Look at the
Geocacher says, same.
Same.
Camp
Ditto.
Clan is looking at Geo Woodstock 19 in Owensboro in May.
In May.
That one I would love to go. I just don't know if it's going to be feasible for us to go. I think we have overlapping travel plans at that point, so we can't make it this year. But that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, look at this. CRS 98 in non-Pacific Northwest caching. He has plans to visit France and Spain in the spring. Mostly not GC related, but the chances of finding geocaches are 100%.
How can you not? Yeah.
How can you not?
Right. Just remember to bring in an umbrella because the rain in Spain falls mostly on the plains.
Well, if you're going to the plains, yeah.
Well, can't drive there.
Lori says going Ape maybe every couple of years. I'm going to try hosting different events around the state in the off times.
Okay.
Very fun. That's a interesting thing. Well, and with the and we'll talk about geo tours later, but with the WSGA Geo Tour going on, that's a lot of fun. That's a great idea.
I just got updates today from the WSGA. There are several people who have completed at least 3 of the divisions, the
3 of the geo tours
Regions.
of the geo tours. Yeah, each one of the geo tours. So they've given out coins already.
Wow.
There's still
one of them
plenty.
rock chalk.
Yeah, oddly enough, it is.
I'm shocked.
And he didn't do the Puget Sound region.
Saving it
Take it
for the
personally.
winter time.
Save that
Yep.
one. Yeah, I've completed 3 of the hides.
Chapters. Thank you. Each one of the chapters. Sorry, my brain is elsewhere tonight. Maybe I'll get it installed later.
No,
There you go.
software upgrade.
Yeah, lots of plans going on in the cache or in the chat tonight.
Yep.
That's awesome.
GSM Times 2 is planning Yuma and Geo Woodstock so far.
Fun.
Awesome.
Nice.
And Komokino might finally make it back to Japan.
Woohoo!
Nice.
I would love to go back to Japan. All right. Well, hey, events, they're awesome. Megas, gigas, even local events are fun. But, and I bet JT Coffee has notebooks about all of them.
You
But
know,
probably also has a notebook that you could share about challenges. Do you have any challenges in your notebook that you're hoping to complete in 2023?
I do. Challenges are so motivating for me in so many ways because it can get really overwhelming just to look at the map and where do I want to go and what do I want to find. And so often I use challenges as kind of a filter and a focus because it can just, well, I could go over there or over there. That would be nice, or there. And then you can just never decide. So if you challenges help focus. And it is nice to keep a list of those things because when you travel, sometimes maybe you've gotten all the qualifiers in your region, your home chords area, but you are planning a vacation, maybe not a geocaching vacation, but you're going to be somewhere else and you think, oh, I should look for something, but I only have time to find just a few things. How do you find just those few things? So they could be as close to your, hotel or something, but maybe you're working on a charter member challenge. And so you want to make sure that if you're going there, you're going to find the cache hidden by the charter member that lives in that area or something like that. That'll help you out with the challenge. It helps you prioritize. So of those that I'm working on, my goodness, there's so many. I accomplished a ton this year, which I feel super great about. And so then it kicks me into next year is working on Jasmer loops. I have one right now and I finished that one a few years ago, but it'd be awfully nice to get 2 and possibly 3 next year because I'm only 1 away from 2. And I think I'm 3 away from 3 or something like that. Maybe 2 from 3, very close. So it's doable, but it feels it's still hard. And I always like I add a few DT grid loops and calendar loops to my year. And that's not necessarily a publishable challenge that you find, but certainly helps. And challenges even help with those DT loops sometimes. And so then there's a lot that are in Washington that I've signed a long time ago that I would really like to just get off the map because Project GC will keep a list of the challenges that you've signed in the past. And then they stare at you until you claim a find, until you qualify. And some of them have been staring at me for years. And so things like the counties in Washington and Oregon and the DeLorme Challenge and the cities and towns, GC2RYC7. I think some of our our folks in the chat might know that one. It's a legacy challenge where you have to find caches in 120 cities and towns, shockingly enough, in Washington state. And they're, of course, very spread out. And I'm close, but not quite. So it'll be good to wrap that one up pretty soon.
Fantastic. Wow, you got a lot going on. I've been working on the Delorum challenge for, it seems like, too many years. I've taken the long way to the Tri-Cities just to go along, the southern edge of the state to go get. I've still got to get to the two eastern corners, the northeast and southeast corner of the state. So those are the ones that are challenging me. So I've got to get out there. We'll make a weekend of it sometime and hit one and then go back and hit the other.
Those are the counties I need too. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot out there.
There are caches there. What else do you?
There are caches there, and that's what makes it interesting. It's not the beautiful landscape. No, you can see that anywhere. What about you, Wits End? Do you have any challenges you're working on?
No.
Oh, did I mention I want to get some of the Washington State Geocaching Association geotours done? Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about geotours.
Oh, those aren't yet. Okay, so no, I'm not doing those yet.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah, put a pin in it.
No, I mean, I don't mean to
pin.
be flippant, but I really challenges don't motivate me. When I'm out with a group and they're like, "Hey, there's a challenge there," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess I won't go there." And we did it when we went to the live event at Christmas a year ago at the Shark Store, and we were out and the challenge. I'm like, "Oh, okay, you guys go ahead." And RE54321 was with us. He goes, "Oh no, look, you qualify." I'm like, "Oh, cool, I'll sign it." But I really don't seek the challenges out. So they're cool, great. So if they're your thing, awesome. They're not my thing, so that's what's great is everybody has their own thing. Land Monkey, I would be willing to bet though, has some challenges. What are you heading for?
The Mrs. Monkey is my JT Coffee, and she's the one who maintains the notebooks and the lists and the calendars for what we're working on. So I'll be honest. What generally happens is I'll say to her, if we've got a day, whether it's a weekend or a weekday where we've got some time and it's we feel like going caching, basically I say, what's on the calendar? What do we need to find? So last weekend we spent the day enjoying Stanley Park, but hitting targeted caches that helped her work on a few things that she's working on. So she's got some calendar related challenges and some cache type related challenges that she's working on. A number of other kind of related things, always like Jesse said, always trying to, see, can we bump another loop on one of the challenges? Everybody needs a JD Coffee. Yeah. I'm lucky. I've
Agreed.
got my own. But one of the things that I think I talked about this in one of the other episodes, but one of the things that Laura's really been working on is, and I can never get the right name for it, but it's like the World Caching Puzzle Series. And it's these puzzle caches in multiple cities around the world. There's one in Vancouver. There was one in Oslo. And you have to work with cachers in other countries because of the way the puzzle works. Like you can only see coordinates at certain times in certain different countries. So you have to collect the coordinates from a whole bunch of different people. And then you get the solves for these different locations. So it's like this big network of people Laura's working with from all over the world, which is great because some of them we met at Geo Woodstock, which was fantastic. Sure. But other people that she's just connected with. And we were able to work out and get the final coordinates for the one that was in Oslo. So when we were in Norway last summer, we went and found it, and that was a huge milestone for us. So thanks, CRS98. He quotes Wits End saying, Land Monkey has some challenges. Yeah,
Land Monkey has some challenges.
And Chris has some problems with you people, and you're going to hear about it.
Well, not for another couple of weeks.
Yeah. That's coming up. When I put the aluminum pole.
That's right. But yeah, so for us, it's that kind of stuff. So there's always something in the hopper. I'm not necessarily the one who tracks them so much, although, I've put out a couple of challenge caches. I put out one around earth caches. We've put out one around webcams. It's kind of fun. Honestly, I think everybody knows what I love doing the most is traveling and finding earth caches. And it's those are my wheelhouse things.
Nice. Well,
Very
I
nice.
jumped in a little early and talked about geotours. Now,
You can take the pin out now.
okay,
There you go.
it hurt. Yeah, you put a pin in me and it hurt. There are a lot of geotours right now in the Northwest. We just added 7. When I say we, the WSGA added one 20-stop geotour for each one of the 7 chapters. That's 140 geotour caches to go out and find. So I know my cache is getting a good amount of activity, so people are out finding them, and it's a lot of fun to watch and to go out and get your own. So, yeah, geotours are a lot of fun. I've started ones here in the Puget Sound chapter, in the South Central chapter. I think I hit a couple in OP in the Olympic Peninsula chapter. So, JT Coffee, have you worked on any of the geotours? Now, not just the WSGA geotours, perhaps some of the other geotours here in the area.
Yes, some that don't are not published anymore. But yes, I remember back when the Visit Rainier Geo Tour, which was so much fun. 100 caches all around the Mount Rainier region, which is just a beautiful place to explore. And
That was an awesome one.
classic geocaching takes you to places that you've never been, and so you find these funny little trails or these really cool old sites. And these new 7 geotours do the same thing, and they really take you on a tour of the state. And yeah, we've been working on them geocaches, and I decided that we'd work on them together. And so we've done 2 so far. It's South Central and the Olympic Peninsula. We've done good chunks out of the 3 other ones on the west side. We haven't done the snowy side yet. We'll save that for the springtime, but pretty close to at least our first level of coin earning. There's another one in Washington that is still active. It's in Bonneville, and it's the Bigfoot tour. That is just pure magic. If you've never done them, it's 10 caches and more than 10 adorable Bigfoots that guide you through it. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I did that one twice.
Did you?
There were a couple. There was one that was flooded out that I couldn't get to, and another one that was temporarily disabled. I didn't check it before I left, and so, had to come back and hit those 2. But yeah, it is so much fun, and it's so nice down there.
It is.
Yeah,
And they're
quick,
all
easy,
pretty much on a walking trail. Like you
Mhm.
park and then you just enjoy this nice walk, and then little surprises around every corner. It's so great.
Yeah, it's wonderfully done. Yeah. I am the Bigfoot tour was a blast. I think Geocaches in there. Love the Bigfoots. Yes. I think she enjoyed it. I'm getting the
She said that in big letters because they're big.
They're Bigfoots, of course.
That's why it's all uppercase. Okay.
There are little foots there too. The little foots are probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
I like the ones hanging on the wires. Those are cute.
Yes.
They're
Oh my
adorable.
gosh. So
they
cute.
remind you of monkeys. Monkey.
That's
Oh,
probably
see.
why. There you go.
Yeah, Mini Mag did it as well. Bigfoot was great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they're so easy to find. I mean, there's entire shows about finding Bigfoot, and they never find it. We found 10 of them in a day with no problem.
There you
How
go.
hard could it be?
You're awesome.
So I don't know what their problem is on the TV show.
They suck. All right. That was a lot of fun. There's a lot of great geotours in the Pacific Northwest right now. You don't have to go far to find a geotour these days.
Land Monkey, which ones are you working on?
We just finished the Abbotsford one not too long ago, which sounds kind of funny because we helped place most of the caches, but we went out and revisited them. So just because a lot of them are wonderful places, so it's just a great place, great geotour to enjoy. We're gonna start chipping away.
Another?
Sorry,
Is Richmond planning another?
I don't know if
The
they're
city-
planning another, but they're keeping theirs active. So I mean,
Okay.
I'm claiming BC as the geotour capital of Canada because there's more geotours in British Columbia than there are in any other province. So
That's a fun fact.
There you go. But I'd like to get up and try and complete the first Gold Country Geo Tour. We're 3 caches away from completing the first Gold Country Geo, but the 3 left are all on top of mountains. So it's going to be a challenge to get to them, but we're looking forward to doing that.
This is the year to buy a helicopter.
Well, the Jeep does pretty good. So it gets us most of the way now. Yeah, so doing that. And of course, we've been chipping away at the Washington State Geo Tours. We finished OP. Did that on a fun trip down there. And got a chunk started on the North 48 and the one over by you, Chris. What's that one called?
Puget Sound.
The Puget Sound one. Yeah, we got a chunk done on that one. I'm not from that area. I don't know.
It's okay.
There's the water.
Right. Yeah, that water one.
Area.
What's that called? Not the one with the islands. The other one. Yeah. Well, actually, Whidbey Island has one for the Puget Sound one, doesn't it? Or is that North 48?
It's 48 North. There's 2 on Whidbey for the Geo Tour.
Right. Yeah. Which any excuse to go to Whidbey.
Yeah.
Like seriously. Like
it's gorgeous.
But yeah, so we're gonna keep chipping away at those through the year and see what we can get to. And like you said, Jesse, like there's the ones on the other side of the state that, well, I guess those are waiting until the snow thaws.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Looking forward to those. But yeah, so that kind of stuff. Lots of geo tours.
There you
All
go.
right.
See, Tribe says the Bigfoot Geo Tour has been on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Time to fill that bucket.
Yeah.
Well,
and you can. Sorry, Jim.
I was going to say, I think maybe Seebeck Tribe and I are the only ones here that haven't done it. So.
Well, and I think you could probably knock off a few of the Washington State Geocaching Association GeoTour caches and
Probably.
the Bigfoot, because you're kind of going along that same route along the river there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, we would be remiss if we didn't discuss travel plans. So, and we're running out of time on the podcast, but we're going to get this topic nailed here before we go. So, Jesse, what do you got on the bucket list for travel for this year?
Oh gosh, we're trying to put the whole year together. Travel, geocaching, work things. It's all coming together, and it's a very exciting time to fill in the calendar. My husband hits a nice round number milestone birthday this year. I hit it, or next year, because as we've discussed, it's next year and it's not this year.
Right. Okay.
Right. It's almost this coming next year.
Yeah.
And so he hits it next year. I hit it the year after that, but in January. And so it's kind of thinking about it as next year. And I'm trying to persuade him to pick a nice big trip to take, trying not to be a travel bully, but persuading that he should choose the trip that he wants to go on. So Japan's been really high on his list. So we're going to try to hit that this year. And I've never been and he's never been, and that would be great. For mine, I have wanted to climb Mount Kilimanjaro and I have my heart set on it. So hopefully in about a year, we'll be doing that.
Wow.
Very fun. That sounds like some great bucket list travel destinations.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, do you have anything on your list? Places you'd like
non-geocaching related? We really don't. We talked about, doing some vacations, but mostly in state.
Okay.
Is what we're thinking this upcoming year. But, that's always open to change. And, especially if I do Yuma and or going caching, those don't happen in state. Well, so
maybe we'll get you up to British Columbia in the spring too.
Oh, definitely. I'm sorry. Yes, the Northwest. I consider that part of the state sometimes. The extreme northern part of the state.
Yeah.
Cascadia.
Where they talk funny.
Just all
Cascadia.
the same.
There you go.
Yeah.
Where they measure height in feet and distance in kilometers.
Yeah. Outside temperature in C and baking temperatures in Fahrenheit.
Exactly.
Oh, who knows? So,
Jim, how about you? Any places you'd like to try and get to this year?
Places I would like to get to? Yes, all of them. I would be in a different city, state, country, or continent every single weekend if I had unlimited financial resources. That's not the case, just in case you wondered. No, I have no plans because that's more in my financial resources. I might be able to make it to British Columbia and visit you, and that would probably exhaust my vacation funds for the year. But that'd be awesome and good to see you guys.
We'd love to have you up here.
It's a shorter list for you if I just ask you, where are you not going to this year?
We do have plans for 2023. We're signed up for one of the Land Sharks cruises, so we're going to do a Mediterranean cruise. If folks want to sign up for that one in the late spring, we'd love to see everybody on that one and go caching with a lot of our listeners. That would be a lot of fun. It's funny, years ago, I used to volunteer with an organization that would have a convention, a council meeting in a different city in Europe every winter in the December timeframe. And I was lamenting to Laura the other day, I really miss that because we would, have 50% of our costs covered to fly to Europe. And often it would be in like Vienna or Frankfurt or these Germanic countries. So there would be Christmas markets. And I loved the Weihnachtsmarkt is one of my favorite things to do. And I don't know about where you guys live, but in Vancouver, if you want to do any kind of Christmas market or Christmas activities or anything other than drive around the neighborhoods and look at other people's lights, anything else you want to do, there's a waiting list and a fee. Like this is like, I'm telling you, sometimes I really feel like it's no Vancouver up here. Like, it's like, come on, anywhere else in the world that I have traveled, you can go to a Christmas market without having to line up, without having to pay a ticket.
Yeah.
You just go, you enjoy it. And it's like, nope, not here. I don't know. What's it like there? Is it the same kind of thing?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there are some festivals, of course, that have money that require a fee to enter. I mean, Leavenworth doesn't cost you anything to go visit. Of course, you can go into the shops. There's restaurants. There's all sorts of stuff to do there. And that's a great Christmas town.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's reindeer.
Yeah, exactly. They're a reindeer.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of like plant nurseries around here that have reindeer, come to think of it.
Really?
Just go say hi.
Like actual live reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. There you go.
There is a Christmas tree maze here in Washington, in Shelton, absolutely free.
Wow.
So it's out, it's just in a field, and they have close to 700 lit Christmas trees that you run through.
Not a great maze, but it's free.
It's free. It's like a corn maze, and the corn mazes you always have to pay to enter. This one is,
Oh, I was just laughing. Chris, I don't know if you heard Jessie when you were saying that. She's like, it's a big empty field, and there's a tree.
There's a tree.
Yeah, that's why it's free.
Did you find the tree?
Run around the tree, and there you come back. So much fun.
You might get lost. Be careful.
Yeah, don't get lost. That costs money if they have to come get you.
I'm sure it's really great. I don't mean to disparage them at all. But that's what my first thought was, like, one tree.
So in Shelton last year, they set a record for the number, the highest number of lit Christmas trees in one lot or one area. So it was just about 700 in this maze. So
pretty cool.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's something I just heard about, and I go, that sounds like a lot of fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun. That would be a neat thing to do.
And of course, there are light shows at zoos and amusement parks. Those do cost money to go into.
All right. I may have taken us a little bit off topic here.
Well, in any way, you know what? JT Coffee, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we're not going to let you go until you tell us how to get in contact with you and how many notebooks you have at your fingertips.
I was going to say that some tables will be flipped if we don't know the notebook count here. How to get a hold of me. My geocaching username is JT Coffee, and you can message me, friend me, whatever. It's very easy to do through the app or on the website. You can find me on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram. A lot of my pictures on Instagram is just Geocaching Adventures. And my username is it says out loud, it's Jessie, but it's JESS_SEA.
Nice. And number of notebooks?
Okay, so I have 2 small notebooks here just at my, right here next to me that I use for geocaching. I have a larger notebook also within reach just right here, less about geocaching, kind of more about project planning in the house. Over there, out of reach, but within 10 feet, are truly 7 notebooks. And I had to count earlier as we were talking about, how many do I have over there? 7.
Doesn't even know.
So the winner of the within reach is whoever had guessed 3. There we go. And the winner for total in the area is whoever guessed 10. Is that what I'm hearing?
All right.
Awesome. Jesse, you're a great sport. Thank you.
Oh, of course. I'm happy to notebooks are the best, and I'm happy to be razzed for them for any time.
Awesome. All right, folks. So we also want to take a moment not only to thank Jesse for the notebook count, but also to thank Landsharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They ship the online orders daily. And remember, you get those cool trackable tags. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, let's find the right background. There it is. Check out exploregoldcountry.com and download the app, and you will have all that cool stuff at your disposal. All right. Well, we also want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Landsharks, Gold Country Geotourism, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cachly, the geocaching app. If you want to know more about supporting this show, click that Patreon link on the cachingandw.com a website.
Like Peach, who truly is in Washington this week.
And Camp Clan is also in Washington, I believe.
And Sprouter, who I'll guess is in Washington.
We think. Who knows?
Usually.
Limax, who's definitely not in Washington.
He talks to rocks, I think is.
GSM times 2, who is in California.
And Trexer.
We have Antaeus.
Genies.
Dora Moore.
CRS98.
Dick Magnet.
Logwork.
AKE Doc. I was corrected.
We're allowed to say Ackerdoc.
We could say Ackerdoc. Why not?
All right.
You told us we could say Doc. You didn't hear it.
Okay.
Well, that's right. Yeah, you weren't here last week.
Okay.
Our favorite kitchen appliance, the LG 9000.
Great Peninsula Cacher, Emner.
Segehov.
And a new supporter of the podcast and someone who's been active in the chat tonight, being a big JT Coffee promoter, Geocaches.
Yay.
Welcome to the family.
And Flagman.
How about Kev MacD?
Kev MacD, we hope you're feeling better, buddy. Terrible lunch, great geocacher, gas station tuna.
And very active in the chat, Seaback Tribe.
Haven't seen him for a while, but MC3 Cats.
There you go. And our favorite countdown cacher, Ari54321.
And my best Shatner impression, just finding our way.
Boomer 365.
Kid Vegas 19.
GeoNav Pro.
Kitty Quest.
Well, you had Boomer and Kitty Quest.
I got the
You had the
extremes
whole
here.
range going there. Subway Mark.
Alarobrick.
UDEC.
Skyhawker.
Wet Coaster.
Keats 94.
Jakar.
Green words active in the chat.
Yeah. Korsgat.
Kettlebarb.
The Arnott family.
Team Noltex.
B. Pendragon.
Fairwood West.
Donners.
Yes, we're staring at you, Donners. Okay, we're done with that. Hey, folks, we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingNW.com website. And if you didn't like the show, let us know what you want to talk about. Maybe it's just JT Coffee's notebooks. In any case, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Subscribe and give us a very valuable review. Now, if you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You can also call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or drive us to the airport for our flight. And of course, you can email us at, you ready for this one? feedback@cachingandw.com. It's there every week. You know what? That email address works. You can join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. for a live show and even livelier chat. The show's produced by Chris Umpenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2022 by Chris Umpenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
#FATAS. Whew, I almost lost the button there. I couldn't find it.
Oh, so much chat feedback tonight. We couldn't get to all of it during the show, but we'll try and get to as much of it as we can here in the after show.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot. It's awesome.
Dab, monkey, dab. I don't know why. I think that might have been your dance.
That was part of my dance. I try and change it up every week. It's a lot of work to be creative every week.
Here's the start of it.
The
wager is how many notebooks does she have with her?
There you go.
See, that's a whole other parameter. Like in my pocket. I just...
Comic or CRS98 says that's a bet I will not take. Let's see. We can hear what's in now.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
What else have we got?
Keats is planning to drive across Canada for 2 months.
That sounds amazing.
All the way to Labrador and back.
With a Labrador and back.
With the Labrador.
Perhaps with a Labrador, but also to Labrador.
Oh, okay.
He will be retrieved from Labrador.
Oh, there you go.
It's late for Jesse.
No podcast baking from Camp Clan tonight.
Oh.
That's what I didn't smell. You can even smell it in the podcast. Yeah.
Is that the Tacoma aroma? Is monkey cakes baking?
That would be better.
Chosen 1978 is planning to travel the length of New Zealand to complete a geo tour and see family over Christmas and New Year's.
Wow.
Impressive.
Awesome.
That sounds incredible. Wow.
That would be an amazing adventure. So there's a geo tour that spans all of New Zealand. I'm going to have to check that out. Of
course there is.
So cool.
And what a great time to do it during their summer.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's perfect.
Dora Moore says, JT Coffee has been an influence. I've been actively working on challenges all year and never paid attention to that before.
There you go.
Excellent.
So there you go, JT Coffee. You're rubbing off on people in a positive way.
That's good.
Oh, let's see. Oh, here you go. Here's the GC for the 20th Cash Machine anniversary dinner.
I'm sure we'll be talking about that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep. And Peach of Washington says, I plan to attend the Yuma and Tri-Cities Mega. I was going to Yuma in early February, which is when the Mega is. And then Puerto Vallarta in late February, early March. So that'll be new geocaching territory for me.
Nice.
New country.
Yep.
Is that part of the Mega? Did I miss reading something? Caching in the Bay will be presenting on taking ALs to the next level. Presenting at Woodstock too, says GSM times 2.
Awesome. Nice. Congrats,
Very
Jesse.
fun.
Yeah.
Star Cachers planning the Midwest Geobash in Wasion, Ohio. That's 25 miles from home. Any others, such as GeoClash and Geo Woodstock and or others, may be available maybe if he gets a new Geomobile.
Awesome. What else?
Let's see. Seebeck Tribe said, I just did a trip to Spokane in early October to make a big detour back to the Puget Sound to grab cities and towns. And after getting home, I realized I missed 2 towns along the way. Oh,
I definitely have done that.
Yeah.
What is that? Grab cities and towns. Like those are capitalized. Is that a challenge?
Yes, it's the cities and towns challenge where you have to get 120 cities and towns in Washington, and it's not just any cities and towns; it's a specific list, and they are not big cities. They're these teensy little things.
Okay, so it's a specific list of cities, and you just any cache in those, or okay,
and it must be within the specific city. It can't just be within sight of the city.
Gotcha.
I've had to visit Rock Island 3 times because I keep getting one just outside the city.
Limits.
Not inside. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's
there's some other cool older, I guess you call them grandfathered challenges that we've enjoyed in Washington State. One of my favorites was the Gladder Bladder Challenge. Where you have to visit rest stops in Washington and Oregon, a certain number of them, which, I mean, it's like visiting a rest stop. Well, that's not terribly exciting, but there's almost always a cache at a rest stop. And what it means is you're going to be taking some highways to some cool areas to do that. So it's long haul driving, but a lot of fun to work. We worked on that challenge a while ago. We got that one. And there's another one, the Welcome to
one. That's a great one while you're going somewhere else. Sorry, go ahead, Land Monkey. I cut you off.
Well, I was just saying, I think Jesse was agreeing. The Welcome to Challenge in Washington State's another fun one. You got to get caches that have the name Welcome to and then the name of the community.
Insert city name here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In the beginning, it can't just be a very nice welcome to. It has welcome to.
But yeah, we finished that one too. That was a fun challenge.
You can work on that any place you go because chances are good someone will welcome you via a cache to wherever you are.
Right at the welcome sign for the city, typically.
Chances are good.
Usually, yeah.
Kyle says, JT Coffee sounds like the name of a geocaching themed coffee shop, where you can order coffee in bison tubes and eat out of Tupperware.
So true story. JTcoffee.com is a coffee shop in Joshua Tree, California. And I was JT Coffee before they were, for the record.
Just for the record.
Yeah. But one day I will definitely go there and have an event there. That'll be great.
You kind of have to.
I was there this summer, and I didn't realize it was there. I could have stopped.
As one must.
Yeah. Get you your own shirt. JT Coffee.
JT Coffee. They have a pin that says JT Coffee. I was like, oh, gonna need that. I have a mug on my desk from them.
Oh, let's see. Seebeck Tribe says, I've enjoyed watching the WSGA OP or Olympic Peninsula caches that have been found. I really enjoy seeing the logs on my 2 caches that I'm maintaining.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lori brings you some cool spots over there too.
Yeah, we enjoyed those for sure.
Kate says, I got to plan is it Sycamus?
Sycamus
Geo Tour?
Yep.
Where is that?
So that's in, I wouldn't even say northern British Columbia, it's central British Columbia. It's about an hour past Kamloops. Not that helps anybody who isn't familiar with the area, but I don't know, probably about 6-hour drive from Vancouver, something like that. But yeah, probably more than that. But anyways, beautiful little community right on the lake. And they've got a little geo tour there. You can drive around, do it in a day. We made a drive up there in the summer, actually late spring, early summer, whatever, May, I think. Spent the night, next morning, got up early, went and found, completed the geo tour fairly readily within the first half of the day, and then drove to from there, made a long drive across that part of British Columbia to Gold Country, and knocked off a few on the new Gold Country Geo Tour as well. So that was a fun trip.
Wow.
Nice.
On the list.
There
Write
you
that
go.
down.
Oh, let's see. There are so
Dora
many.
Moore says that she's going to Ireland in September. That would be a lot of fun.
Ooh.
That
Yeah,
would be
so
on the
cool.
bucket list for sure. And Keats94 says he'd love to go to Scotland. Nothing like a shot of whiskey and a miserable, wet, chilly breeze in the Outer Hebrides. Absolutely. That would be
Amazing.
a
You
wonderful.
could do that right now in British Columbia.
Yeah, he could. Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, hey, folks, thank you so much for all the chat. It's still going on. There you go. Wino says, if there's a hockey team in a Geo Tour town, I'm there.
Yeah, Abbotsford Geo Tour.
Mhm.
They've got the Abbotsford Canucks, the farm team for the Vancouver Canucks, plays there.
And of course, the Tri-Cities is the Tri-Cities Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty. You just have to look it up. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. And until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.